The scene is set, and England's side unchanged. In the knowledge, of course, that Twickenham is no longer an impregnable fortress, but only Carling, Underwood, Rory, Andrews, Moore and Richards have ever been on a losing side against France. Here, the power outside, the leadership of a captain who's won 34 of 45 internationals, and a pack of forwards that Jack Rowell and England reckon could take on the world. France with those two changes I mentioned. Philippe Bernard-Salle for the injured Emile Ntamak, and the powerful 19-stone figure of Olivier Brouzet at number 4 in the second row. Beside those two changes from the team that beat Wales. Perfect conditions. Well, Kenny McCartney's been a far fighter for 23 years up in the borders of Scotland, and greatly looking forward to his first Twickenham international, his 7th in all. The crowd encouraging England, who won the toss and take the kick-off through Rob Andrew. Bright sunshine, and first ball for Bracken. Andrew had to hurry to get that one in, dropping just outside the 22. Knocked off Roumar, picked up by Sadorni, France's fullback. Christophe Delot, quite an enigmatic figure at fly half for France, who made his Five Nations debut 2 weeks ago, but was in the successful team in victory over New Zealand. Key man, I suggest, Bill, alongside Akosaberi, the new pairing.
That's right, that Delot, he impressed me immensely in the game against Wales, and he did extremely well there. And he certainly looks a very laid-back character, that he just stroked that ball away with ease.
First line out. Johnson, Bayfield, Brouzet, Roumar, and the options at the back of the line as well. England's throw through Brian Moore. Rodber, Bracken away, almost intercepted by Caban, who was on hand, but advantage played. England ball, Rodber again. Powerful French tackling. And it's on England's 10-metre line. Tremendous anticipation by Caban, who almost took the interception. Bracken with the dummy feed. There's Tim Rodber, number 6. France, though, with good weight. But England break off on the fringe and now set it back. Loose pass from Bracken, picked up by Carling. That's a good ball. Sadorni could only watch it. 53rd cap, and England's most successful captain of all time. France throw. They've Roumar in the middle. They've moved Benazzi up near the front. Akosaberi. And then Jean-Luc Sadorni to clear. Terrific pace in both sets of three-quarters. And I think that injection of Sadorni, the fullback, showed the extra vitesse that can come back from the base. Rodber goes up, it's loose. Moore can't hold. Gonzalez shadows it into touch. Jean-Michel Gonzalez took over from Tordo, quite a controversial figure. Then Azesh Califano, right and left. And a blood injury for Gonzalez, which of course has to be seen to immediately, and referee McCartney saying off for attention. Temporary replacements, of course, allowed. It'll be Marc de Rougemont who would come on. He's racing down the steps below us. And this would be a first cap for the man from Toulon. Here he comes, wearing 21.
The crowd are getting slightly agitated, but unlike any other injury, if there's an injury to a front row forward, then you have to bring the replacement on immediately.
Welcomed on by Ken McCartney. Made his A debut against England last year, de Rougemont, and has impressed hugely on tour in New Zealand, but uncapped till now. England in control in the set piece. Dean Richards keeps it at the back. But it turned, and England will get the put in again. Encouraging surge that, Bill.
Yes, and I've noticed that the French back row, who detached from the previous scrum, have immediately got in there.
Up from Richards, Rodber. Richards again, the link to Bracken. Andrew, mismove. Well taken by Mike Catt. Across comes Sadoni. Out left is Rory Underwood. Lovely pick-up by Mike Catt there. The man keeping his place after coming in for Paul Hull. Perhaps a sign of nerves, some of the passing not quite as accurate and not dropping in front of the player as one would wish. But England have made good ground. And France have the throw. The return of Gonzalez. So a brief appearance for de Rougemont.
Not bad getting your first cap, coming on for about a minute and then going off again.
Well, he can rest happily on his newfound achievement, brief though it may have been. Meanwhile, pressure within the French 22. Roumar can't hold, Richards can. 10 metres out. They're trying to drive up straight to the line and going well. Within 5 metres now. Still there. The back row roll it off. It's with Ben Clark. Richards feeds. Bracken now. Andrew, little chip through for the England midfield to chase, but Akosaberi is there first. They hadn't encroached quite far enough to make that a telling blow by Andrew, but it was a neat idea.
Good morning technique and a flat line by the French defence, but I think really in hindsight that Rob Andrew might have been thinking he could have well been better keeping the ball in the hand then.
Newcomer Kieran Bracken, it's just his 6th international, displacing Dowie Morris. Andrew. Rory Underwood up there. Anyone's ball at that point. But it's England who repossess. Ubogu on the charge. Bracken. Nice pick up by Andrew, a difficult pass. Rodber typically in support. Bracken again, shoots it away to Guscott. Catt is unable to cling to it. France foraging, but Richards there with Clark now. Key ball-winning skills there. Jason Leonard. Builds as his profession should allow him to. This is Richards, took it well. Thinks about the long feed, opts to drive as he knows best. Bracken again. Andrew. Rory Underwood's come across from the left. Bracken again. Trying to make some real gain of ground. Andrew. Saint-André. Enveloped. Guscott. Tony Underwood there. The scrummage here with Victor Ubogu out of play for the moment, receiving attention from Kevin Murphy, which will disrupt the England scrummage. Kossoberi, Delo, Lacroix with the big boot. Cross comes Catt. Oh, it's a fine clearance. One has to bear in mind just a little that for England advancing on that left flank and looking right, the sun is low over the west stand, which might make life a little difficult for them. But what a fine clearance kick that was from Thierry Lacroix. Ben Clark, Dean Richards, Tim Rodber. Back row that's done so well for England on key occasions, like against New Zealand in '93. Wales last year, South Africa the first test in the summer. But round comes Benazet to tidy up ball for France. Powerful drive and broken off effectively and taking on the backs now, which is hardly fair game. but it's gone loose, and Obogu's made something of it. That's a good recovery to feed now Bracken. Andrew inside via Clark. Bracken again, eluding, but not eventually eluding Benazesh. It's a penalty against Jason Leonard for being in front, obstructing whilst in an offside position. A penalty to France. So about 40 metres out. Really no wind to worry about. This to take the lead. Is it straight enough? Yes! France lead. 18 minutes played. Thierry Lacroix, and what will be very much a settling influence on the French team, who've been really up against it in this opening phase. And against the run of play, really, that score. From the restart, Bruma. Clark is not offside. Moore into the 22. A quick riposte by England, this. Set up by Ben Clark. Bracken, Andrew. Carling inside. Underwood doesn't hold it. Back goes Carling. Seller is up there, his old adversary. But France are offside in front of the post.
Yeah, the French blatantly offside there, right in front of the post, and this will give Rob Andrew an easy chance to tie the scores at 3-3. But it's amazing how many sides at international level, as soon as they take a lead, they immediately concede the lead that they've just taken.
Not wasting any time. 3-3. 19 minutes, and England coming back. Psychologically important that they did so very quickly, and that was an effective answer to the first French score.
It was a soft score as well, because really it wasn't a great kick-off by Rob Andrew, that France had all the time in the world to take a nice restart, knock the ball on. England had a couple of drives. 3-3.
A man of unorthodox lifestyle, Christophe Delo with the restart. Now Obogu. Back via Clark. Bracken. Andrew sees his path out wide. Check. That looked like a late tackle from Califano. Penalty it'll be from where the ball landed. So despite the good catch by Ruma, who's somewhat incensed by this, it was clearly stupidly late by Califano. Not dangerous because it wasn't that firm, but it really was some while after Andrew had put boot to ball. There it is. It's got weight, but he's pulled it a long way left. So a quarter of the match played, a penalty goal each it stands.
Outstanding performance, powered by experts.
Get ready for a double dose of a FIFA Premiership rugby rivalry, as ESPN has not one but two hotly contested derby games. On Saturday, New Boys Exeter take their upstart winning ways to Big Budget Bath for a West Country wrestling match. Then the fight for local supremacy continues on Sunday, as Wasps and Saracens step into the arena, with both chasing Premiership glory. Exeter versus Bath and Wasps versus Saracens, a weekend derby doubleheader this weekend live only on ESPN.
To subscribe, go to espn.co.uk/TV.
The new Vauxhall Corsa. Put the fun back into driving. Vauxhall, proud sponsor of Home Nations football.
If you find yourself injured and it's someone else's fault, you can either say it's fate, or you can say, I absolutely did not deserve that, and call Injury Lawyers for You on 0845 345 4444. Call Injury Lawyers for You now on 0845 345 4444.
You took a mystery and made me want it. You got a pen.
Fuse.com. Clickety-click. Job done. Amlin Insurance sponsors Rugby Union on ESPN Classic.
From Caban, Vara Kossaberi, not straight enough.
You can see the sort of perplexed look on the French players when they have a line-up for not being straight, because in France they would just let that go, the local referees.
Perhaps not fully conversant with the broad border accent of Ken McCartney. Bracken himself. Sadurni waits. Tony Underwood challenges. Timed it well too. England quickly back. Now then, Johnson. Rodber over the 22. France looking dire straits in defence. If England can use it fast, they have it. And chances here. Tony Underwood, tackled by Delo. Caban up there in support. France have regrouped well, but the forwards looking a little lumbering at the moment. And England take them on again. Referee playing advantage. Andrew. No advantage comes, but there's offside already called by referee McCartney.
Yeah, the referee again playing good advantage, giving England a chance there, but slight overcomplication by the English backs there, that they had about a 4-2 overlap, and I'm certain that when they look back and they use quick hands, then Rory Underwood would have been in the corner.
The backs coach Les Cusworth from the 22, wide out. The roar says it all. 6-3. A brief smile on the face for Rob Andrew as he gives England the lead. Delo. Bayfield. All 6'10" of him. Bracken, Andrew from the 22. Good, straightforward, no-nonsense defence. French side in which only Sella has been on the winning team against England. That's a psychological hurdle for the rest. Califano trying to drive it round the back. It's all very lateral. England could capitalise on this. They do. Bracken held by Benazzi. Now Jason Leonard. Rodber. Great driving run by Rodber. Set up well, perfectly. Andrew now. Back goes Saint-André, with him Benetton. Now Saint-André the captain. That was coolly done. They'll have to clear a long way. He doesn't make it. Rodber. The roar of the crowd as Rodber goes for the line. Carling upended. Here's pressure.
And here we see Tim Rodber, who's been absolutely outstanding for England today. But good cover there, that the ball was slightly telegraphed, and Oliver Rumar was able to get Will Carling into touch. But great pressure by England.
And France pinned down in that corner once again. England leading 6 points to 3. Coming up to 29 minutes played of the first half. Rumar with a good deflection up the front. Kossaberi, though, forced to take it in. Now extricates himself. Sadurni.
What has impressed me about England in the first two games so far is the amount of turnover ball that they get, that when the opposition have it, that the big back row, physically strong men are able to retain possession and get possession for England.
Yes, getting back ball that one would think France would have retained. Brouzet gets the tap down. Rumar drives. Akosaberi, Delo to clear. That's a good line kick. Christophe, Delo. And one of the problems for France in recent seasons has been the fact that they've never really found a settled pair of halfbacks since the days of coach Pierre Berbizier. They've had a different pair of halfbacks against England every year for the last 6 years. Even Stevens on the line out. But England effectively driving it round and taking men out and winning a penalty.
While statistics look as though it's 50-50, it's the quality of the ball that's the important thing. And certainly England's ball is so much better, and they're able to set off those driving mauls there, which the French are always scratching around for possession.
Rather like a boxer being on the end of body punches. This, I'm sure, will be getting to the French pack. Already some of them looking a little sluggish around the field. Maybe that's wishful thinking. Tony Underwood with Smurf in attendance. Kevin Murphy, ever faithful England physio. England back to the 22. Martin Johnson, 6'7". Martin Bayfield, 6'10". The target for Brian Moore. Johnson, great two-handed catch. Then the backup of the rest of the pack. And the referee warning the French backs not to encroach offside, as they have been wont to do. England still controlling affairs up front. It's there with Dean Richards. Richards, under drive, 5 metres from the French line. The French pack recoil. Still, this is where the power goes in. All those hours in the fitness room, and the breakthrough to the line. England held up with Rodber there in the van. It's still right on the French line. It could yet be England possession again. Abogu to Bracken. This time they spin it. Rob Andrews sees her half gap. It goes to Ben Clark. Looks for support. Still on the French line. Bracken again. Overlap here. Guscott. Cleverly done. They bought that lightning dummy. And there's delight for Jerry Guscott. His last try was against Scotland in '93. That's his 17th in all, to add to the try scored against France in 1990. And it was a moment of brilliance.
Yeah, Rob Andrews, a crucial man here, pass inside to Ben Clark, and look how many French midfield backs he commits. There's the standoff in there, they're all in there, and as the ball comes out, Jerry Guscott under the post. That's a dear moment for him. He's been waiting a long time for that try, and that's one for him to savour.
He checks, but he can do nothing about that. It's pace off the blocks that counts, and a great field for it. Rob Andrew, and 2 more points for the conversion, as England stretch to a 10-point lead after 34 minutes of this first half. And the flags of St George waved high. England lead. A try by Jeremy Guscott, 2 penalties and a conversion by Rob Andrew to Lacroix's penalty. 13-3. We're in the last minute of normal time in this first half. Akosaberi, Delo, Thierry Lacroix, Benetton with him. Benetton with the setup, makes it available well. Akosaberi likes to run. Oh, that's a good run, but the homing in pincer tackle of Guscott and Bracken was sufficient in the end. And Akosaberi took a knock in the process, but was back on his feet. Perhaps held on that shade too long. Having drawn them, he might have shipped it on.
Yeah, but having said that, it was good play by Jerry Guscott, because what he did, he forced him down that alley. He forced him down that line of attack. Whilst people might not appreciate it, it was tremendous work by Guscott.
To secure the scrummage, and now possession for England again. Andrew, again, safe as houses. .32 in a couple of weeks' time. and now winning his 63rd cap, his 11th time against France, and never playing better than in these last 12 months. So, kicking out of defence, and occasionally those little floated balls in attack. Halfway line, throwing towards the sun. Cossaberry, Delo. Neat little push through, but down near the England 22 it matters not, because with 41 minutes played it's a half-time whistle and England basically in forward control, well worthy of their 10-point lead.
Outstanding performance, powered by experts.
Wake up to laser eye surgery from £395.
The next day was magical, and it's just fantastic not having to wear contact lenses.
Have laser eye surgery from £395 and pay nothing till 2012, then take 2 years interest-free credit.
The treatment was a fantastic investment.
It's made me feel more confident, more awake, a lot happier. I can't put into words how thrilled I am with the result. Go for it. I wish I'd have done it sooner.
For your free information pack, call Optimax now.
Have you seen it? Everyone has. Aircon, alloy wheels, fog lights. I know. Bluetooth. You can even plug in your MP3. But can it swim?
The Peugeot 207 Envy Special Edition from £11,185. Beware the consequences of envy.
Churchill, I see with your home insurance you get half-price contents cover. Is that something I should think about?
Oh, yes. Oh. Oh. Uh-oh.
And can I get half-price accidental damage cover for my home contents too?
Oh, yes.
For home insurance you can rely on, call our UK call centres.
Family Insurance sponsors Rugby Union on ESPN Classic.
And so in perfect conditions, the final half. Delo restarts. And this secure band of 8 up front for England. Who've really set their mark on the game. Referee McCartney saying the ball must be released. It comes back in time. Bracken dropping it on the halfway. Clark foraging up there with Tony Underwood. But France have buried the man and the ball, and so have been penalised. Slightly bemused Philippe Saint-André, but then there wasn't too much French forthcoming from Ken McCartney.
No, I think it lost something in the translation there.
And so the line out is just outside the French 22, and England advance. Delightful character, Philippe Saint-André, runs an Irish pub in Clermont-Ferrand. Can get stout on tap. This his 41st appearance. At the front, Martin Johnson for England, now Moore. Bracken, though, needed to whip it away instantly as the French pack forage and come through, but fail to achieve initial possession. They have the put into the scrum, though. Olivier Rouma.
Yes, I would think Kieran Bracken was delighted to get that man and ball there from Brian Moore.
Scrum half's nightmare from Cossaberry. Delo, bit of room now. Lacroix, Sviar in the line, and now Bernard Saal has pace, but the tackling was tremendous from Carling. But there, quickly in support, is Caban. He's a man who can turn a game, but it's not released after the tackle.
And And again, as I mentioned earlier, that the support play of England getting there quickly and robbing the French of possession. Normally you would have put your money on Laurent Caban retaining possession there, but the England backs were in there. You see it here, going outside, the ball comes loose. Caban's the next man to pick it up, but England, 3 English men there, rob him of the ball and get the penalty.
There for Bracken. Well, almost. Rouma wrestling with him, but England have repossessed. France anticipating that drive off the fringe, but England still there and still edging forward, setting it back to Bracken. Richards, dummy wasn't bought, but he just stood there solid. Carling, fast off the mark. England again, Clark with a dummy, they're all in the act. Now Rodber, and England drive up the middle. Referee McCartney waves the French backs back onside. England head for the post. Bracken, Clark, good tackle by Caban, but a penalty with France in fact yet again in front of the post, and 3 points now in sight for England.
Again, it's a pressure of the England forwards. Marvellous mauling technique there. You can see them here. They get the ball to the back of the maul. There's Martin Johnson there making the ball available as it comes out. Again, it's, you see Ben Clark there. He makes the ball available. Dean Richards, but the referee had already penalised France under the post.
Head on to the post shouldn't be a problem. It's off the post. Caban. Nothing certain in this game. Akosaberi, Delo. France dangerous as ever in this situation. Delo, Benazzi. French desperate for something to uplift them. 10 points adrift. They'll try and use any ball to attack with, even deep in their 22. You only have to think back to the try of the century scored by Philippe Saint-André 4 years ago. That set this stadium alight.
Again, impressed by the physical strength of the England players there, that normally you'd expect Benazzi to have won that more easily, but England managed to get hands on the ball and stopping France winning it.
Safe ball, Delo, adventure creeping into the game now. Lacroix from Salah, oh, that's nice sleight of hand, no one there to pick it up. Eventually Brouzet does. England are there by that time on the French 22, but still the options of running taken by France. Rodber across, slipping it cleverly to Ben Arsaal. His enormous pace, it rebounds off Cat's hand. Ben Arsaal, it's a sprint for the line, feeds inside to Akosaberi. Caban now, this is French brilliance. Sebastien Viard is unchallenged, and that's so typically French. Never count them out. Sebastien Viard with the most wonderful score, which all started from the French 22. That's the way it can happen with the French, and that was simply superb. The replacement Viard with the try that keeps France very much in the hunt. Never count them out.
And this is the crucial bit. Is this a forward pass? Marginal there, but Ben Arsalan, he chips the ball over Cat, retains possession, comes inside. But the crucial bit of play, I think, is by Laurent Caban here, where he gets the ball, he waits, and out it goes to Sebastien Viard. And once he's got the overlap, there's no stopping it. But great play by the French, great awareness there of keeping the ball available and keeping the game fluid.
Viard. Lacroix, rather, the goal kicker, Thierry Lacroix. And it's 13 points to 10 and a wonderful kick, but this was a great try.
Good awareness here, keeping the ball available, but Caban there, he's the one who made it available, made the ball, passed it out to the winger. Well, full-back who goes in, no problem at all.
Immediately England come back with a penalty goal chance. The ball was knocked forward, the Frenchman took it, he was in an offside position. And so England can make it a 6-point buffer. 13-10 they lead. 12 minutes replayed of the second half. This will settle England again if he gets it. Huge cheers once more. 16-10, but still within a try and conversion are France. We're about 10 metres outside the England 22, 14 minutes into the second half. England leading 16 points to 10. Enthralling encounter. Tony Underwood chasing as VR is upended. Ben Clark. Bracken. Andrew, not much room in which to operate. Clever option taken. Back goes Ben Arsal. Rory Underwood is with him. That's good ground made. Thrown by Moore. Bayfield first, but it lands with Richards. Drops it over his head to make it available to the rest of the pack. About 8 metres out. One of the French players has lost a boot. It's with Rodba. He's made tremendous ground. Within 5 metres now. The pick-up by Caban, who's not sure which way to turn. Looks to run it from behind his own goal line, which is perilous to put it mildly. France dive in on top of him and concede the penalty. It's the pressure again that tells, and the part played by Rodba immense.
Yes, France were lucky there in the first place because Lacroix kicked the ball back, and really Caban, not the greatest place to counter-attack, and there's 3 French players over the top, and no hesitation by Ken McCartney to give the penalty.
Well, Laurent Caban reflecting, I'm sure, on the wish that he might have just kicked it to touch. He had time to do so. This a remarkable man who has come back to the forefront of world rugby after the most appalling car crash in 1990 that put him in a wheelchair for a year. What a lesson for us all. Rob Andrew, though, can now make it a 9-point lead for England. That's superb. 19 points to 10, 17.5 minutes played in the second half.
Outstanding performance, powered by experts.
In rugby, you can guarantee there'll be blood, sweat, but no tears. And now you can also guarantee there's one website that's in the thick of it, with big stories, highlights, news and views. ESPNscrum.com. Total rugby guaranteed.
If you're a landlord, you should have proper landlord insurance. You see, normal home insurance isn't designed for rental properties, which means you could end up spending money putting things right if something goes wrong. So why not give Direct Line a call? Their landlord insurance is designed to cover you and your property. And it costs less than you might think, as Direct Line guarantees to beat any quote for the same cover. For a quick and easy landlord insurance quote, call now or visit directline.com.
Who can know how you'll spend your days? The ups, the downs, the kids you'll raise. All the things they'll bring. We can't predict everything life will throw at us. So isn't it useful somebody has?
Not your most impressive landing, Captain. Let's check out the insurance, Skip.
Go compare! Go compare! Use your head to save your bread at Go Compare!
It makes sense!
Saving sense! Go compare!
It's where you go!
Insure your motor, and you'll thank your stars that you went to Go Compare!
So there is intelligent life in the universe.
Hey, Churchill.
Is it right with your car insurance I get a 24-hour accident recovery helpline?
Oh, yes.
So imagine, I'm driving along and... crash.
Oh.
One call and you come and get me.
Oh, yes. Oh, no.
For car insurance you can rely on, call our UK call centres.
Amlin Insurance sponsors Rugby Union on ESPN Classic.
And that tells you really the essence of the game.
Yeah, 51-22, it just shows how England have dominated this game.
Through goes Gonzalez. Offside England. It's Abogu interfering. He was clearly offside, and a France penalty. We've quarter of an hour to play. England leading 19 points to 10. And Lacroix ambles across to try to pull back, and again a significant kick. It's well struck, but it's left of the post. Sighs of relief all round in the England camp. It stays 19-10 and 13 minutes to go. Bayfield waits. Northampton policeman. Good catch by Olivier Brouzet, the man who took over from Merle. The great prospect at 22, but how well run back it was. Moore on the charge, but Rory Underwood tripping over himself, really. Throws the ball away in disgust.
No, Tim Rodber, he's the man that you should look for. Number 6 here. He comes round the side, and when things are going for you, they are. And allowing Brian Moore to a counter-attack.
Wrong hand by Ben Clark, and in fact off the shoulder, really, I think was the reason for the penalty. Ben Clark penalised. No kick at goal this time. Delot for touch, and the throw in to follow for France. That was the penalty infringement. Two men, Benazzi at the back, Rumar at the front for Gonzalez to aim at. 19-10, 9-point England lead. Benazzi did well. 15 metres out. France with the setup. Delot, Lacroix, Caban. Terrific feed. Tony Underwood almost escaped. A knock-on is the first offence. Tempers fray just a little at close quarters. Well, Tony Underwood would have loved to have got away from here and shown them all a clean pair of heels. A lovely effort by Caban to get the quick feed through that would have set up a French overlap. England's lead on a par with that against Ireland. 20 points to 8 then. It's 19-10 now. And another majestic England 8 performance.
Belatedly, you see the French now cutting down the line out, that it's the second two-man that they've had, and the prime man here is Benazzi at the back. He's the one who normally wins the ball.
Marked by Rodber. Benazzi taps down, but eventually comes back France's way. Gonzalez. Delot. Selah. Caban the link. Lacroix via Benarsal, Saint-André across, and they went forward. A bit of wrestling for the ball after the whistle's gone, with Cat and number 8, Philippe Benetton.
And again, good defensive work there by England. It might have looked pretty from the French, but really they didn't gain a lot of ground there, and there were 2 or 3 men covering when Bernard Sellars got the ball.
This one always sensing the defence had them in their sights. Still deep within the England 22. At 15 metres out. England's put in. So they form again. Scrummage collapses, and it's France who've been penalised for dropping it down. Quick breather for the England pack as Andrew goes for touch.
Rob Andrew can always put the ball to touch, and the confidence that you see Jack Rowley, the England team manager and coach, he must be a happy man at the moment, that Andrew's always confident that his big forward's in a winning ball again.
They've been doing the basics well. Huge leap by Bayfield. When he does stretch his 6'10", it's about 9-10 feet. Useful kick, dropping on Bernard Saal. Good catch, but good follow-up by Rory Underwood, who turned him. That's the key. Bracken, Andrew. One for Tony Underwood to chase against Saint-André. Tony Underwood, Saint-André, it's still loose. And the try is given. I think Saint-André is claiming he's held by the shirt, but the ball initially seemed to beat them both, and Tony Underwood racing through gets his 7th try and his first against France.
Well, it was touch and go whether Tony Underwood was actually offside when Rob Andrew kicked this ball, but he goes back. You see that Saint-André is more intent on stopping Underwood turn. He missed it completely, and the referee is quite right to give the try. Without a doubt, the referee was on the spot, and Saint-André made no real effort to ground the ball. He was looking to impede Underwood, and quite right to give the try.
And Rob Andrew now from wide out. Well, that could be the killer blow. Well, there was a bit of tugging by both parties, really, but no doubt about the fair downward pressure on the ball before it went out of play. Abdelatif Benazzi, Moroccan-born, 4th time against England, and yet to experience a win. Only Salah of this French 15 or 17 as it now is has been on the winning side. Delo long passes it that time. Lacroix, Saint-André, Viaz across to the left, just short of the England 22. And England once again have turned it over. Heaven knows how they do it, but it's graft and effort, and the clearance by Carling to follow.
Great relieving kick by Will Carling, but again we see that England pinching the ball in the tackle of the French. This must have happened half a dozen occasions when France have been looking dangerous. You think they're going to win the ball, but I think it's the upper body strength of the England players that wins them that ball, and good technique.
Murray looks on as France through Gonzalez's throw on the halfway line. Rouba, Akasaberi, Delo, Lacroix, Via. But again, it's England who've turned it over, repossessed. Tony Underwood rebounds off Benazzi. Carling's there to cover. Good effort by Benazzi, but on his own. Bracken's clearance kick is long, high, beyond Rouba. Heading for touch. Oh, what a kick. Rolling out inside the French 22. Rouba just slaps his thigh in disbelief. Andrew back on his feet. Not yet. May just have been winded. Well, this was some kick coming up. Andrew in an awkward position.
But Tim Rodburn, Dean Richards at the bottom of that ruck, winning the ball for England. And when Bracken gets it, 50, 60 yards down the field, thank you very much.
To that position, within the French 22. 2 minutes remain. Benazzi has always been a valuable line-out operator, wins possession. Delo not sure which option to take, wants to keep it in play. Cat waits, takes, goes. Delo's tackle. England unrelenting in their effort, are there in number. Rudber, what a game he's had. But it's not been released, and France have a penalty. Akosaberi, Delo, on goes Sen. Reasonable ball for once. Delo, someone's got to inject the pace. Benazzi now, Villar, Bernard Salle. But England cover assiduously. Away by Akosaberi though, Delo. Cat saw that one coming. He's in his 22. Will do nothing other than the sensible and secure. Mike Cat, the 23-year-old, who's followed a long string of recent England fullbacks, Pears, Hunter, Callard, Hull, but has really adapted very well to an unaccustomed position, normally a club fly half or centre. In the last moments of normal time, England comfortably placed to go on to their ambitions of Grand Slam glory, secure in the knowledge now that they will have beaten France for the 8th time off the reel. Rudber couldn't turn back himself to make it available. The ball's not coming out. And France, it's becoming a bogey ground now for the visitors from across the water. Last win here was in 1987, in that great period of French dominance in the early and mid-80s, when they were unbeatable. Here's Bracken, Rudber the link, beautiful timing in the pass to Cat. Cat with Tony Underwood to race it in, to round it off. A brace of tries for Tony Underwood, and England's celebrations can go ahead full cry. What finishing, and what a beautifully executed score.
Well, it's a pace here of Mike Cat. Just look how quickly he comes into that ball. He comes from deep, he comes quickly inside to Tony Underwood. There's no stopping in there, but what a superb back row move there, instigated by the pace of Cat coming in from deep that gave Underwood the overlap.
All about the timing and then the finishing speed. Brilliant running to round off a great England triumph. 29 points to 10, and this may be the last kick of the match. Rob Andrews' conversion attempt. That puts the icing on the cake. The crowd rise to an England triumph of great dimensions. 31 points to 10, 3 tries, and the French challenge has been beaten off in style.
Success.